Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful day today. I do still have that video coming about the guillotines and all that stuff. I am working on it, so I promise I will get it up. But I do have a few articles that I wanted to read for you first, and this one is very short, but there's a video that I wanted to post up after I read this sentence. And there is some cussing, so be prepared for that. But it just shows the temperature of where we are as a society right now, and how heated everything is getting, and how we can see how people will react in the tribulation when people don't have the mark or aren't following the rules. That we can see how people will behave during the tribulation. But quickly, this is a video and a story about a woman in New York where she walked into the grocery store. Apparently, she wasn't wearing her mask, and there was a mob of people that were shouting at her and yelling at her and basically ran her out of the store because she wasn't wearing a mask. And the sentence, it's just like a little paragraph. It says, meanwhile, in Staten Island, New York, a woman was driven out of a grocery store because she was not wearing a mask. According to a video posted on Twitter, there was reportedly filmed inside of a grocery store. This comes as New York Governor Andrew Cuomo ordered face masks to be worn in public in all places where social distancing is not possible, including public transportation and even busy sidewalks, if you can believe that. So I'll go ahead and I'll post the video up so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's just amazing how nobody stands up for her. Nobody, comes in and says, knock it off, where's our rights? No one is objecting to people calling her names and really nasty names and just yelling at her. And it's like this mob mentality, and it's such a shame. And again, be advised that there is a few cuss words in here. I don't know if this particular one has bleeped them out, but the one that I saw, there was a few cuss words. But so be advised of that. If you have young kids in the car or around you, just kind of give them their earmuffs. But I'll go ahead and I'll post this video, and then I'll come back with a few more articles.
Get out. Yeah, go that food and act like a dirty ass pig. Dirty ass hoe. What do you think? Fucking tree.
That was pretty disgusting, wasn't it? The things that they were calling her, all because of why? Because she wasn't wearing her mask. That is uncalled for, and there's no excuse for anybody to be treated that way, and there's no excuse for anybody to force somebody out of a location because they aren't following what you deem to be the rules. Like I said, that just shows how people will behave during the tribulation when you don't have the mark. So that's just kind of like an example. Then there's another article, and it says, coronavirus monitoring bracelets flood the market, ready to snitch on people who don't distance. This is from endtimesheadlines.org. And it says, the Intercept. Surveillance firms around the world are licking their lips at once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to cash in on the coronavirus by repositioning one of their most invasive products, the tracking bracelet. Body monitors are associated with criminality and guilt in the popular imagination, the accessories of Wall Street crooks under house arrest, and a menace to society parolee. Unlike smartphones, tracking devices have their own right. Strapped-on trackers are expressly designed to be attached to the body and exist only to report the user's whereabouts and interactions to one or more third parties. They don't play podcasts or don't tell how many steps you took for that day to sweeten the surveillance. But a climate of perpetual bioanxiety has paved the way for broader acceptance of technology, with a wave of companies trying to sell tracking accessories to business owners eager to reopen under the of the guise of responsible social distancing and to governments hoping to keep a closer eye on people under quarantine. Take Arista Flow, a Maryland-based outfit that helps corporations track their assets, breathing or not. In an April 21st press release, the company announced it would begin selling. Sorry, hang on. I pushed read more. Hang on just a minute here. Here we go. Oops. Okay. Selling Bluetooth and Wi-Fi trackers to be worn on an employee's wrist like a Fitbit or around their neck like a cowbell. When people come within 6 feet of each other for a period of time, the company wrote in the press release, the device makes an audible chirp and a record of the contact is made in the Arista Flow software system, but the tracking goes far beyond audible chirps. Arista platform allows employers to continuously upload a record of close encounters to a corporate cloud, providing an up-to-date list of presumed social distancing violators that would double as a detailed record of workplace social interactions. The company's marketing language is explicit in talking up the non-viral benefits of tracking your workers' every move. By helping companies locate people and things in real time, the two are seemingly treated interchangeably. They can expect a reduction in unplanned downtime, improved asset utilization rates, and the reduction need for spares. In a press release published just a day after Arista Flow's Boston-based Redpoint Positioning Corporation, another player in the business of tracking workers and inanimate objects, announced that it would be taking its own cutting-edge technology already used by leading companies worldwide in third-party logistics, auto manufacturing, mine operation, and repackaging for social distancing. Like Arista, Redpoint offers companies the ability to tag their equipment and employees using ultra-wideband radio signals, a wireless positioning technology only recently added to the most advanced iPhones. Redpoint boasted in an announcement of its ability to use these tags to track the location of people and equipment with extremely high accuracy, even in complex industrial environments. Now, with a coronavirus-specific argumentation, if a social distancing perimeter, such as 1 or 2 meter radius, are violated between workers, the tag alarm will alert them to the hazard. The company will also collect a history of employee interactions. If an infection does occur, historical data from the system will allow for highly accurate contact tracing, as records can show the individuals who were near the infected party. A Redpoint spokesperson did not answer when asked if the company has any policies dictating how their technology can be used by clients. While the Arista and the Redpoint trackers merely evoke the aesthetics of a police state in a workplace, Israeli surveillance outfit Supercon is literally repackaging as a COVID-19 solution technology previously used on incarcerated or criminally convicted people. The security company has customers in 20 countries, including the U.S., and claims decades of experience with what is called a press release secured boundaries project, like border crossing and home confinement. It's the house arrest expertise that the company is now marketing as Pure Care, described on the Supercom website as a state-of-the-art solution for quarantine and isolation monitoring to aid government efforts in containing and limiting the reach of infectious diseases, and incredibly as a non-intrusive patient-friendly system that continually tracks patient location within buildings, vehicles, and outside. Supercon America's president, Ordon Trebelsi, declined to tell the Intercept where the company's ankle bracelets are currently being used for quarantine enforcement, but it named Central America as the location of one pilot deployment and referenced a second pilot program in some other unspecified region in an April 6th press release announcing a coronavirus citizen quarantine and containment tracking technology. The company announced separately on April 27th that it had begun selling tracking devices for prisoners released from the unnamed United States of America Correctional Facility due to COVID-19. In the same press release, SuperCon claimed to see a spike in interest from government agencies looking to restrict the spread of COVID-19 among their general population, and envisioned additional potential industry demand for electronic monitoring services coming from the incarcerated American population. One might think that the company like SuperCon would shy away from proposing that those exposed to the coronavirus be in any way treated like criminals, but in a recent YouTube interview, Trabelsi makes a point of stressing that it's precisely the company's work with criminal elements that makes the COVID-19 solution superior. In the past, we have spent a lot of our time focusing on very accurate and state-of-the-art tracking of offenders, he said in the video. Many customers and potential customers around the world asked us if we could use that same platform to do, COVID-19 home quarantine tracking and compliance. And we thought, of course we can, because it's exactly what we do in the offender tracking space. But now we'll just be tracking people that are not essentially offenders, but unlikely were exposed to the virus. When asked in the YouTube interview about the privacy implications of SuperCom's ankle bracelets, Trabelsi murmured, though he did not note that the hardware is very uncomfortable and goes underneath their sock. He went on to say how the company's customers use technology in their call. We leave it to them to make their own decisions on rules and privacy, he stated. In an interview with The Intercept, Trabelsi said interest in SuperCom's coronavirus product has been mostly governmental so far. Should any of these intrigued governments decide to use SuperCom bracelets to enforce quarantines, Trabelsi said it's up to them to do so responsibly. Everyone has their own rules, he told me. Some countries share that they want to put everyone who comes into the country into quarantine for 14 days. Some want to put it onto people who are sick or who have confirmed cases. It depends what the government regulations are. They define the rules exactly as they want. They just provide them with the technology to track people. Okay, this is kind of a really long article. It just keeps going and going. So basically the gist is that the government is they're seeking out these companies to get these tracking bracelets for people. They're releasing criminals onto the street, leaving open the jails for what they consider criminals, which happens to be hairstylists and normal human beings and pastors and the everyday Christian, right? So they want everybody who doesn't belong in jail to be in jail, and they want everyone who belongs in jail to be free. So we can see where that's headed too. There was another one I wanted to go over briefly, if I can find it here. It was, let me see here. Let me find it. I'll be right back. Okay, here's one. This isn't the one I was looking for, but here's one. We know that last week, President Trump mandated that all churches can remain open, that they are considered essential. Now we have a federal appeals court in California that upholds the ban on person-to-person church services, so that it kind of puts the church kind of on notice that they're not allowed to socialize with each other, even though the president, who is above everybody, has said that they can. So it says the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Friday on a lawsuit brought by the South Bay United Pentecostal Church earlier this month. The lawsuit claimed California Governor Newsom and the other state officials violated the church's First Amendment rights with a stay-at-home order. Federal District Court denied the request for a temporary injunction on May 15th, according to the ruling, where state action does not infringe upon the restricted practices because of their religious motivations and does not, in a selective manner, impose burdens only on conduct motivated by religious beliefs, that it does not violate the First Amendment, he basically said. So the plaintiff filed the lawsuit, and the judge basically sided with the Governor Newsom to keep and force the churches to remain closed. So there was that one. And then there's undercover police agents that are going from restaurants and bars all across America, and they're trying to enforce the coronavirus rules. So are we under a police state or are we under a freedom state? It sounds to me like we are, under everybody's nose. We kind of went into a martial law type of state, and people are so, I don't know what the word, self-centered maybe, that they're so concerned about being able to go out. They're so concerned about being able to go drink with their friends and go to the clubs and go to the restaurants with their friends that they don't even realize that they have just entered into the twilight zone. And, they've entered into a police state and they have no idea that they're being watched. And because this shows that they're undercover police officers that are, who knows, they're standing around watching you. They're watching your every move. They're watching what you're drinking and how close you are. And if you're, interacting with other people and how many people, what is this? What is going, I know what's going on. I'm just being sarcastic, but, there was another article, I'm trying to find it, and it was Alan Dershowitz, and he was talking about how the, vaccine was coming and how there wasn't going to be any religious exemptions, that Christians and Jews are not going to be allowed to claim religious exemption, that everybody is going to have to be vaccinated whether they like to or not, and that that because of the government, you don't have a right to not be vaccinated, and that the government has the right to come in and take you from your home and take you to the hospital and force a vaccine upon you. That's the article I'm looking for. So I want to read it. So give me just a moment. Okay. So I found one, and it was a Fox News report, and it says, Dershowitz says forced coronavirus vaccinations could happen. Police power of the state is very considerable. Okay, it says Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz joined Tucker Carlson tonight to discuss the constitutionality of forcing members of the public to be vaccinated against the COVID should the vaccine become available. Host Tucker Carlson began the segment by acknowledging the argument that people don't have the right to endanger other people. Your right to punch ends at the tip of my nose, before asking Dershowitz whether the government has the right to endanger people who may have an adverse reaction to a vaccine by forcing them to take it. The Supreme Court said yes, and if the case came to the Supreme Court today, they would say yes. It would either be 9-0 or 8-1, Dershowitz responded. It is not a debatable issue constitutionally. Look, they have a right to draft you and put your life in danger to help the country. The police power of the state is very considerable, he said. Dershowitz added that he agrees with the moral argument that no one should be subject to vaccine that has not been fully vetted on the chance that it could help other people, and noted that he wouldn't want people to submit to a vaccine unless it was proven safe. If the vaccine is extremely safe, then the state does have the right to tell you to take it, he said. Vaccines work on a theory of mass inoculation. You're not taking it to help yourself. If there were a vaccine developed for cancer or heart condition, Dershowitz added, obviously you and I would have the right to say no. We have the right to die. he's trying to guilt trip people and trying to make them like a scare tactic. If you don't take this COVID shot, you're going to die. The prominent civil libertarian said people who object to being vaccinated may instead be forced to submit to further quarantine enforcements, before emphasizing that no one has the right to circulate in society without being vaccinated. I don't believe you have the right to be Typhoid Mary and spread it, he said. So I'm going to play a short clip for you so that you can see Alan Dershowitz in the interview that he was in. It's just a really short clip, a minute long. And then I have one last article I want to share with you, and then we will close for the evening. So with that, I'm going to play this, and then I'll be back.
Let me put it very clearly. You have no constitutional right to endanger the public and spread a disease, even if you disagree. You have no right not to be vaccinated. You have no right not to wear a mask. You have no right to open up your business.
Wait, can I stop you?
Yeah.
No right not to be vaccinated, meaning if they decide you have to be vaccinated, we have to be vaccinated?
Absolutely. And if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm. If the vaccination
Where is that in the Constitution?
If the vaccination is designed to prevent the spreading disease. If the vaccination is only to prevent a disease that you will get, for example, if there's a disease that will kill you, you have the right to refuse that, but you have no right to refuse to be vaccinated against a contagious disease. Public health, the police power of the Constitution, gives the state the power to compel that, and there are cases in the United States Supreme Court.
This is Dershowitz now. Let's be very clear how we break down this issue. You have no constitutional right to endanger the public and spread the disease, even if you disagree. You have no right not to be vaccinated. You have no right not to wear a mask. You have no right to open up your business. To which Jason Goodman, the interviewer, I did take some time to get the best screenshot that I could. Oh my goodness, there was some facial expressions on the part of the interviewer, Jason Goodman. I mean, he's just going, his eyes are as big as Volkswagens. He's like, and then the screenshot I got was him going, "Stop, can I, what? And that's what he said. He said, "Wait, can I stop you? No right not to be vaccinated," meaning if they decide you have to be vaccinated, we have to be vaccinated? Then Dershowitz replies saying, "Absolutely," I'm quoting, "and if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm." He goes on to say, quoting, "The alternative." Oh, we have an alternative? Yeah. You know what it is? According to Dershowitz? Wait for it. Here it comes. "The alternative is to live in your home and don't get vaccinated and never ever leave your home. But if you want to interact with other people, the Constitution does not give you the right to spread your illness to other people. And you can disagree. You can be a dissenter. But what you can't do is say," now listen to this quote very carefully. I'm quoting, "I don't agree with Dr. Fauci. Take the law into my own hands and decide to spread the disease. That is not a constitutional right." Now, to his credit, he does cite a precedent in case law, which could be argued because it was not a mandated vaccine that set the precedent. It was the paying of a fine in refusing the vaccine. And that's the legal citation and precedent that they refer back to in the early 1900s. Well, Goodman, as you might imagine, he wasn't expecting this. He puts this screenshot up. Obviously, the video was edited after the interview, and he inserted these photos, these images into the YouTube video. So he puts this up and says to Dershowitz, and I quote, "We're mixing the fields of medicine and law. The proof of something in law seems vastly different than the proof of something in medicine. A lot of the people who are advising us as to the future of vaccines in this country are the very same people that were kicked out of major countries for serious failures and injuries resulting from vaccines that they felt were going to be beneficial. I'm very troubled." This is Goodman, the interviewer. "I am very troubled," he says to Dershowitz, "by the legality of what you're suggesting, because it seems like we're very close to a government mandate that we must all be vaccinated." It's almost like he's giving Dershowitz an out. Walk it back. Take that back. You didn't just say that. Oh, yes, you did. So what's Dershowitz going to say to that? I'm quoting, "I would like to see a government mandate if a safe vaccine is developed for COVID-19. I hope it's mandated, and I will defend it and argue that in the Supreme Court of the United States against your views." On Thursday, Del Bigtree on his Highwire Talk YouTube channel had a much-needed follow-up interview with Dershowitz and asked him for clarification about his statements, saying, "What I'm curious about is there any group right now that you see should be excluded from that type of mandate? Is there anyone that you would say just right up front, look, when I said they can drag you to the hospital and plunge a needle in your arm, I didn't mean for this specific group"? Is there anyone in your mind right now that fits that scenario that would be exempt from the program? Dershowitz, his answer, quote, "Let me start by saying you should not be exempt. Religious people who have a religious objection should not be exempt for two reasons." Still quoting. "First, the religious objection is nonsense. Christians and Jews can have no religious objection. Look at the Bible." I did. "The Torah." I did. "The Old Testament, the Jewish Bible. It has chapter after chapter about how to deal with people with communicable diseases. It requires," this is Dershowitz, "that you take lepers and put them outside of the wall. There's all kinds of descriptions about how, whether a person still continues to be contagious, and the concept of choose life in the Bible, which is often quoted against abortion by Christians. But surely Christian theology, Jewish theology, Muslim theology, so we're all on the same level now, on the same playing field. We all pray to the same God. You see how subtle that is? All the Mosaic religions, the Abrahamic religions, all support preferring a life. And so I wouldn't exempt anybody on religious grounds any more than I would exempt people on religious grounds from other obligations under the law.